Okay, guys, welcome back to Let's Get Freaky podcast. Super excited to welcome back to the show. We have got Jeannie with us. How are you, Jeannie? Welcome back.
I am doing wonderful, and thank you for having me back.
I'm super excited to have you back. The last time you was here, it was episode 154, and I called the episode "It Was Coming Out of the Ground," which is a very scary name. You've had some scary, amazing experiences, some really cool experiences, some scary experiences. You're a paranormal researcher, so that's probably
Yep,
why we put ourselves in these situations for some reason. And and you look into the paranormal, it's going to look back. That's just the way it is.
absolutely.
So how have you been?
I have been doing very good. Happy to be back in Michigan.
Yes, yeah. So was that where you was last time we spoke, or
Yes,
yes?
yes.
And then you moved to Kentucky, is that right?
I was in Kentucky for a month and I came back home.
Okay. So since we last spoke, have you had any other paranormal experiences?
A few.
Oh wow, let's go.
Well, I told you about mentioned the Pukwudgie that a friend and I seen.
Yes,
That was a very interesting. Excuse me, I got a cat bugging me.
that's okay. No worries. He can get involved. What's his name?
Okay,
What's his name?
we call him Gar.
Gar. Okay. Welcome to the
Yeah,
show, Gar. Yes.
but we were in a cemetery,
Hmm.
a very old cemetery, dating back in probably the mid 1800s, and she's seen something move behind a headstone, and then we walked around. Well, the cemetery. The cat is hitting my camera, my
Oh
phone.
no.
The cemetery sits on the edge of a very heavily wooded swamp area. And we were hearing noises. He was biting me.
Oh no. That's not good.
No, we were hearing noises coming up out of the swamp. We ignored it. I'm used to that kind of stuff. And then she mentioned that she thought she'd seen something run behind a headstone. So we walked around and I'm watching, hoping to see something. As we were leaving, I turned around and seeing this creature pop its head out from behind a headstone and he put his hand in front of it. The fingers on this thing were 4 inches long and it came to a very sharp point. And it was standing there watching us and it looked absolutely angry. It was only 3 foot tall, but I didn't want to mess with it.
Wow. What was its facial features like?
It looked like an old man. It actually looked like an old man with these elf type pointy ears, and the hair on it was like spiked all over and sticking out around its face and on top of its head.
Wow. And did you and your friend both see this?
Yes, we both seen it.
Wow. That's what sort of coloring was the skin?
Gray. It
Interesting.
was a gray color, yes.
Wow. Was it wearing, can you remember it wearing clothing or anything like that?
No, I did not see any clothing or anything like that. It just looked like it had almost like a leathery skin covered in hair. That's all I seen.
Wow. So when you're in the graveyard, did you walk around that stone before and it wasn't there?
Yeah. Yeah, I had walked around this headstone a couple times because I was just drawn to that one because of the date on it. And it, I don't know where it came from. I don't know if it was hiding inside a tree or because there were a lot of trees in there that had the opening in the bottom of them.
Hmm.
A lot of people call them elf holes or elf portals.
Was there any significance to the grave that you was drawn to? Was there any reason why it would have been there, or
Not that I know of. I don't. It all I This graveyard, it has a very peculiar energy to it.
hmm.
You just feel like there is something there with you the whole time you're there.
Wow.
And that particular headstone, it I think it belonged to an older gentleman that had passed away like in 1876 or something like that.
Interesting. Did this creature notice you? Did it react to you seeing it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it definitely did because it as soon as I looked it in the eye, it pulled back behind the headstone real quick.
Whoa. Did you see it again after that? Did you go towards the headstone or?
I took a couple more pictures, but I didn't catch it, and I don't know where it like just vanished. I don't know where it went. It was odd.
Whoa. So this when we first talked about this on Facebook, it was the Pukwudgie that you were thinking that this was. Is that still what you're thinking, that this was a Pukwudgie?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know what else it could be because
Interesting.
I've been doing a lot of research on them, and it fits the description to a T.
Yes, yeah. The Pukwudgie is one of my favorite cryptids at the moment. I love them all, but there's something like really, and they seem to be a lot more people seem to be having experiences with these things, whatever they are. And there's different there's different names, but they're around the world, but they seem to be the same thing. Like these little trickster entities, they're all described the same, like gnome-like creatures, small, 3 foot tall, come in and out of our reality, it seems. They all seem to fit this same description, and I just find it wild. And I'm hearing a lot more people talking about it and coming out and seeing these things.
Yeah, I consider myself fortunate to have seen it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Can you sort of explain? It might be difficult because I know when you're seeing these things, it's like amazing and it's shocking. But can you sort of explain what his eyes look like and stuff like that? Could you go into detail of what his face looked like?
The the best way to describe it, the pictures that you see in probably cartoons that people draw with the big nose and puffy cheeks,
Hmm.
little pointy eyes. I think that would probably describe it the best.
Wow. So that's exactly what it looked like to you.
Yeah.
That's wild. What a cool thing to see. Did you get a bad vibe? I don't know if you said
Oh
if you got
yeah.
oh you got a bad
Oh
vibe from
yeah,
this.
definitely. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he wasn't happy we were in his territory.
Hmm. Yeah. Again, why do we put ourselves in these positions? Because it's, but we have to do it because it's amazing. So you said did you say elf holes in the trees?
Yeah. Yes. There were a lot of trees with the elf holes in them.
Hmm. So is this what locals would refer to these type of trees? And is this area known for having little people cryptid pukwudgies?
I've never heard of them. I've never heard anybody mention them before,
Interesting.
but a lot of people are not open to it.
Hmm.
And if I personally feel if you are not open to it, you're not gonna. experience it, you're not going to see them.
hmm Yeah, that's where I am with all the paranormal as well. I feel that there's something. I don't know. I feel like some people are naturally more open, so that's why you do get people that have experiences and they're like, I don't know what to do with it. Don't ever want to see that again. You know. Um,
Yeah.
but then with people like us that love it and look into it and are constantly looking into the paranormal, you're open to it. You know, there's more out there. You're definitely going to see and experience more stuff. 100%.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man, what a cool experience. I'd love to see a Pukwudgie. That would be amazing. Have you seen anything like that before? I know you've seen a lot of high strangeness things. You've seen cryptids and things. Have you seen anything like that before?
Not like that. I have seen fairy lights before, but I have never seen anything like that before. I've
Interesting.
heard stories of people seeing things like that under bridges
Yes. Yep.
and areas like that, but
Mhm.
that was my first.
Wow. Yeah, these things that I mean, they're in our folklore. They're in fairy tales, and they have been for going back centuries, whatever it is, whenever they first started recording these things. And they've been there the whole time, and they still seem to be here. And it does seem that I don't know if it's like Bigfoot and Dogman, when more people started coming out with sightings. I think it helped other people come out and talk about the things that they'd seen. Maybe the same thing is happening with these little people cryptids and the fae and gnomes and fairies and things like that. Whereas before, it's you know I think most people in the world now will agree that there's more out there with in the sense of UFOs and things like that. I think
Oh,
most
yeah.
people there's definitely something going on out there, whether it's our technology or something else. Most people will say there's UFOs out there and not feel stupid about saying that they've seen a light or they've seen something that's in the sky that they can't explain. And I think we're getting more people are feeling free to come out and talk about things like the Fae and Pukwudgies and fairies and because I'm hearing so many people talk about it and so many people sharing their experiences.
Yeah.
So the fairy lights that you saw, can we get into that when that was? So I don't think we talked about that last time.
I, that was, I believe, 3 years ago now,
Hmm
2 or 3 years ago. Um, there were three of us sitting outside. It was dark. We were waiting for the northern lights to start showing. And I started seeing little flashes of lights, and I thought they were fireflies. And then I started noticing that they were different colors. And the other woman that was sitting there, I asked her if she's seen them, and she goes, "Yeah, I can see them too." And we were naming off the colors that we were seeing, but there were probably 50 of them across this big open field. And that was
Wow.
the only place we could see them. And the field that they were over is a horse pasture, and there were horses out there. And they
Inter-
say that berries are attracted to horses. So,
Interesting. And I've heard that before about the different colors. I've heard other people tell me that about seeing fairy lights and they were all different colors. So that's interesting as well. What sort of colors were they?
blue, green, pink, clear.
Wow.
It
How
was
cl
it was actually pretty.
Yeah, I bet. How close did you get to these?
Oh man, we were probably 20 feet from them.
Okay.
Yeah, they were pretty close.
Wow. So, because I've talked to people that have got close to these things, and that have said that if you get to a certain distance, you can like see tiny little bodies basically in the light, which I find amazing. I'd love to see something like that as well. But so you didn't get close enough to see that?
No, unfortunately.
Hmm
I
Yeah,
would love to.
yeah, that would be cool. I'd love to see something like that, man. That would be amazing. What do you think they are? What do you think those things are? The fairies. And I know that's difficult
I,
because
yeah, I believe that they are a little being that actually lives in our world, and they can either help or they can cause trouble for you.
hmm yeah, there's good and bad
Because
to these things.
yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
I believe I got a picture once. I don't know whatever happened to it, but I was at a waterfall, and I believe I got a picture of a fairy. It looked like the body and the wings in the midst of the waterfall. I will look for that picture, and if I come across it, I will send it to you.
Oh, thank you. That'd be amazing. How big was that roughly in the picture?
It may have been 3 inches, three
Oh,
inches
wow.
total.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool. Did you see that with the naked eye at the time, or did it just come
No,
out in the picture?
no. I was just looking at the mist and everything coming from the water,
hmm
and I seen it in the picture.
Wow. That's wild. It does make you wonder with all cryptids, like, because so many people capture things. And I've talked to a lot of people recently that have captured images of what looks like an undeniable cryptid, but they didn't see it with the naked eye. They saw it after, and it just
Yeah,
makes you.
yeah,
Is there something to that? Are these things, do they come out in and out of our reality, and we can't always see them? That would explain a lot. That would explain a lot of why we can't 100% prove these things.
exactly.
Yeah. You sent me a video recently as well. Well, last night I think you sent it to me. Was the
Yeah,
you was in this was in Kentucky and you were being chased by a dogman,
yeah.
which is very scary. If you don't mind getting into that and telling us about that.
I was okay. I'll start from the beginning. I was there with somebody, and we decided to go for a four-wheeler ride up on the top of the mountain behind their house because we had been hearing tree knocks. So we wanted to go and see if we could possibly get evidence of Bigfoot back there. On the way up the mountain, we get to this big curve in a logging road, and it smelled like pure death. It was it was absolutely horrid, and we thought there was a dead deer or something laying there that had gotten hit by a car or something and crawled up there. When we get up around the curve a little bit, and we were only a few feet away from where we were going, we're sitting, we get off four-wheeler and go sit at the base of a tree, and we no more get sat down, and we could hear a tree knock way off in the distance. So I got my camera out and I started video recording, hoping to catch something. And unfortunately, I didn't. But when the tree knock occurred, we could hear something at the base of the ravine that we were sitting on top of running through the brush. So we sat there listening, and all of a sudden we heard a growl. It was this very, very low. It came from the bottom of their stomach type growl. And all of a sudden, all the hairs on the back of my neck and everything were I mean, my arms and everything. It's happening now. And I looked at the person I was with and I told him, this is not cool. That's not a Bigfoot. And he agreed. We sat there for a few more minutes and we both turned our bodies so we could watch in a different direction. And I just started snapping a few pictures. And we heard the growl again, and it was closer. I looked at him and I said, it is time to get out of here. I don't know what that is for sure, but I want to get out of here. So we got on the four-wheeler, and when we were getting on the four-wheeler, we heard something rushing at us, and I got a slight whiff of that death smell again. And we started down the hill, down the mountain. And every now and then I could hear something running with us up in the woods. And when we got back to the curve, that death smell that was there, it was gone. It was not there anymore. And we got down the mountain just a little bit further and we could smell it again. I don't know why. I'm wanting to get out of there. I'm scared to death. He hit the brakes, and when he hit the brakes locked up on the four-wheeler, and it literally felt like the rear end of the four-wheeler flipped up and it flung me forward. And I got hurt at that point. I'm sitting there shaking. I'm so scared because I've seen a dog man before. And I didn't want this thing coming over the top of that ridge and coming at us with the brakes locked up. He had a rifle with him, but I don't think that rifle would have done any good if it was a dog man.
Mhm.
He finally got the four-wheeler moving again. And I'm hanging on to the camera, but I couldn't film the heel anymore. I'm in too much pain. But when we got back to the garage and when we got off the four-wheeler and walking back to his place, I could smell that smell again. It had followed us back.
Whoa,
Yeah.
man. How far would that have followed you, roughly?
I'm guessing it had followed us at least a good 2 miles.
Oh, man. I mean, the video that you shared, like I could hear the fear in your voice, and I could see you was trying to capture whatever it was that you was running from. That's terrifying, man. What made you think Dogman? What was the? Because I know you're out Bigfoot researching, Dogman researching, and I know you're out a lot in the field. What sort of made you think this is not an angry Bigfoot?
I'm I'm basing it on the smell
Hmm.
because from what I have heard from other people and things that I have researched and things that I witnessed personally, the smell of death, it was pure death is what we were smelling.
Hmm.
And the smell of death is associated with the dog man and the way it as fast as it was moving to those woods. I know Bigfoot can move fast, but I believe that if it was a Bigfoot, there would have been more tracking of limbs on the ground and stuff like that. Where this, it was cracking a limb every once in a while, but a
Hmm.
Bigfoot would have been crashing more.
Interesting.
And
Man.
I did smell that smell a couple days later too.
Wow. So this thing was hanging around.
Yeah,
What do you think would happen if you had not run? If you'd stood your ground? Do you think there's a chance that this thing
I
could attack you?
I think it would have attacked us. I really do.
Wow. Man.
From the research that I have done, they protect their territory, and for some reason, the territory that we were in, I think it claimed that territory, and it wasn't going to give it up, and it didn't like anybody coming in there.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
There is, oh, excuse me, go
no, you
ahead.
you go. Sorry, you go.
There is a um tower, a cell phone tower on that property. And there are guys that have to go back there every now and then to do maintenance or go back and just do routine checkup on it. The guy that I was with had talked to these cell phone maintenance guys, and they said that they had seen something back there. And the way they described it, it sounded like a dog man.
Whoa,
And they do not believe in this stuff.
man. So what do they think it was then?
They didn't know what it was. They described it. They said it looked like a human, but it had the shape of a human, but the head of a dog and a long tail.
Is there a lot? Is this a known Dogman area? Like other people witnessing this?
Yeah, yes. He told me a story three 3 years ago about something that had occurred that he was involved in. He sent me pictures 3 years ago. Hit somebody related to him was back in that ravine scouting around for hunting, and he came across a tent and somebody's jacket that was shredded. It was torn apart.
It was shredded.
Well, they went back and they start. It was shredded. They went back and he looked around and they found other clothing that was shredded. At that point, they called the law and they came in and they were searching the area. They found somebody's wallet with their identification and all of his money and other his credit cards, everything. They found all that. And they looked and looked. They found bloody clothes, but they never found the man's body. They never found any remains.
Man. Wow. Do you know if that made the local news or anything like that?
No, no, they kept it all hush hush.
Yeah, yeah.
They didn't,
This is
yeah,
something you
they
hear a
didn't,
lot.
yeah, they didn't. They reported the man missing and they put out a, what they call a, they put it on news that the man was missing and that if anybody put up his picture and everything trying to locate him,
Hmm.
that is all they did. They never reported what they found or,
Man. It's wild because you don't hear too many reports of people getting attacked by these things. You hear like bluff charges from Bigfoot and Dogman, stuff like that. You don't hear too many reports of people actually getting attacked and surviving. And I'm guessing that's because if you do get attacked by one of these things, it's game over. Like we've got no chance. These things are far more powerful and superior to us that we wouldn't stand a chance. If they wanted you gone, you're gone.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There are a lot of caves and a lot of what are they called? Drilled drill holes
Hmm.
where they drill down into the ground really deep looking for minerals.
Hmm.
There are a lot of those that, and a lot of them were actually drilled into caverns or into going into caves. There are so many network of caves and these holes in that area where these things can go and hide, and you would never find them if you go looking for them.
Hmm. Do
And
you
they
think?
can bring anything in these holes, and you wouldn't locate.
Yeah. So do you think that's where these things are coming from? They're coming from beneath us.
The dog man, yeah, I could see them doing that because they need shelter, and if they can hide.
Hmm. Hmm. Did you go back to that area that you was chased?
I wanted to. I wanted About a week later, I wanted to go back, and because I thought I saw something, I sent you a picture,
Hmm. Yes.
and I wanted to go back and I wanted to measure a log, a stump back there to see how tall it was. And I believe that log or that stump was at least 7 foot tall.
Whoa.
But he would not go back there.
Hmm. Yeah, that picture you sent me. So you caught something that looks like the shape of a dog man, and it was tall. You say 7 foot tall, and that's a wild picture. And again, you couldn't see that. If correct me if I'm wrong, but you couldn't see that with your naked eye.
I didn't see it. No, I was I was taking pictures.
Hmm.
I just wanted to get pictures, snap as many pictures as possible, trying to catch whatever we were hearing.
Hmm.
And I didn't see it with my eyes. No.
Yeah, yeah. But that's a cool picture though that you sent me. Thank you for sending that as well.
You're welcome.
Did you put that on your Facebook and stuff like that? That picture?
No, I know I did. I have not.
Hmm.
I have not.
Yeah. It's very difficult with these pictures because you experienced that. You saw that. You know that there was what was there.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you put these pictures up, you get people that say things and they wasn't there. They didn't experience it. So it's very difficult to, but the picture that I've seen that we're talking about is very interesting because you can see the shape of something bipedal, very tall, standing there that looks like a dogman. I mean, it's very interesting picture.
Yeah. I mean, you can see the pointed ears and everything.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And then not long after, that's when you was chased after taking that picture.
Yeah.
So that's
I took
interesting
that
as
pic.
well.
Yes. I took the picture, and we heard that's when we heard the second growl after I took the picture. And that's when we got out of there.
And so you could have really annoyed this thing by getting a picture, possibly. I mean,
Possibly.
we don't know how that works, but you could have done.
No, no.
It was definitely angry if it's growling and coming for you and man, that's
Yeah. It's,
wild.
yeah. We don't know if they run solo or if they run in packs. We don't know. I would think that they probably have at least one, maybe two others that they
Hmm.
associate with or hang out with.
We hear
I
that
don't
with
think they
Bigfoot.
would be, huh?
We hear that with Bigfoot that these things sort of there's normally more than one. Like is what you hear. I know, again, we don't fully know, but you do hear that there's more than one, and they sort of look out, and it's interesting, man. Is the area that you was in, is that a Bigfoot area as well? Is Bigfoot seen in that area?
Yeah, yes, yeah. As a matter of fact, just a few miles from where we were, a lady reported to a Bigfoot organization in Kentucky of a Bigfoot that she had seen. And they went and done a interview with her and got a story about that.
Interesting. These things do seem to go side by side. They do seem to live in the same areas. Oh, interesting stuff. Very interesting. Can we go back? Because I'm pretty sure we did talk about it the first time you was on. Did you share your Dogman experience the first time you was on? I know the other Dogman, the time you saw one.
Yes, I think I did, but I can
Yeah.
tell
Do you
you
want,
about it again.
yeah, do you want to tell us that again? I'm pretty sure you did thinking back, but let's hear that again if you don't mind.
There were four of us in a vehicle heading down the road. It was just getting dusk to the we had to have headlights on. I was in the back seat behind the driver's seat. And when I'm in the back seat, I like to position myself to see out the front window. Especially in that area, there are a lot of deer, and I've wanted to keep my eyes open for deer. We were approaching a big curve, and the headlights hit that ditch on the opposite side of the road. And I seen something, it was crouched down, holding something in its hands like this, eating it. And it's
Oh,
as we approached, it stood up and it was a dog man. There is no other way to describe it. It stood up. I can't remember if it dropped the rabbit or hung on to it, but it turned and ran. It took off, but
yeah, you
it was,
did.
it didn't have no neck. It was very muscular, big shoulders, big long snout, big pointy ears. I mean, it was
Wow.
huge.
Yeah. You did share that before, but I'm going to ask you again if you don't mind. How tall would you say that was?
I'm I would guess probably 7 foot. I think it was 7 foot. It was down in a ditch
Mm-hmm.
and it was running up the embankment to go down a two track.
Yeah. And this thing was eating a rabbit.
Yeah, it found a rabbit and it was literally hanging onto it like hands, eating it.
Wow. So it didn't have like giant paws. This had like human-like hands, would you say?
Ye- Yeah, they looked like human hands covered in hair with long claws. Just
Wow. What a cool thing to see. Again, scary, very scary. But cool. Can you remember what color the eyes were of that creature?
yellow.
Interesting. And can you remember the color of the fur? You might have already said
It
that.
was it was dark. It was a dark color,
Hmm.
dark brown, very dark brown or black.
Yeah. Wow. Does your opinion? Because my opinion changes every day on the paranormal. Like every day, one day I'm like, these things are supernatural. They're in and out of our reality. The next day I'm like, they're flesh and blood. You know, they're as much of this world as we are. Whatever. Where do you stand with the Dogman right now and Bigfoot and things like that? Do you think they're flesh and blood, or
I believe that they're flesh and blood. I really do.
do you think there's?
Because, pardon me,
No, sorry, you go. You go.
just the different research that I have done and the evidence that I have found and things that I have seen personally, I believe that they're flesh and blood.
Hmm. Do you think there's a supernatural element to them, like a science that we just don't know yet? Possibly.
Possibly, yes.
Hmm. Yeah.
I think they have sort of like a sixth sense, and they can sense when they're in danger, or they know when there are people around,
Hmm.
not just hearing them and whatnot, but they have like a almost like a the best way to describe it is like they have like antennas that reach out and they can sense
Hmm.
different things.
Yeah. Yeah, I think personally when we're in their territory, like, if they don't want to be seen, or it's because you do hear a lot of the times the Bigfoot crosses the road, or people get a glimpse of these things, but ultimately if they don't want to be seen, we're not going to see them because they are just so much more aware than us in that environment. We've got no chance, basically.
Right.
Yeah, so interesting, man. Thank you for sharing that again as well.
Yeah, you're
I,
welcome.
what else have you experienced? Is there anything else that you've experienced since we last talked? Any other strangeness?
There's been a lot.
Have you got any more to share or?
um there was more that happened in Kentucky
Oh
while I
wow.
was Bigfoot. There's a piece of property that he took me to a couple times. And while we were there, we were listening for tree knocks and stuff like that. And there was an old tobacco barn on the property where we were. As a matter of fact, there were three of them on that property, but the one that we were investigating around, the second time we were there, I told him, I said, there is something in that barn. I heard a board fall up against the wall or something, and I could see movement in it was getting dark, and I could see like a shadow figure moving around in the barn. So the next couple days later, we went back for we could go in the barn during the daylight to see if we could find anything. And we found a couple of footprints, Bigfoot.
Whoa.
Yeah, I I'm not I don't think he is really doesn't know a lot about trying to preserve evidence and stuff, but I had to tell him not to walk to the prints because I wanted to go back and pour
Hmm.
a mold. But somehow the print that I could pour got disturbed, and the other one was on too much of a slope, and there's no way I could have poured a mold for it to take.
Hmm.
But we went back and I poured the mold, and I'm glad I did because I got more than I bargained for. But I'll explain in a minute. But while that was setting, we went for a walk clear back on the property. We went back so far that I actually started feeling like we were being followed and watched. We got back there, and I have a big fear of snakes, and there's a lot of rattlesnakes and copperheads around there. And we were getting into a swampy area, so we decided to go back up into one of the big open fields, and we did a couple tree knocks, and we actually got a response. And this was during the day. We sat there for a few minutes and we tried getting another one, but we couldn't get another one. So we went back up to the barn. And to kill time, we did some paranormal investigating and worked on some EVPs and stuff like that. And after a while, we I was able to get the molds up, and I wrapped them, and we went back to the truck, and we sat at the truck for a little while and did some more tree knocks, and we could hear something big moving in the woods behind us. And then off back in that backfield where we had been, we heard a tree knock coming from back there again. I do believe I got a recording of one of them.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was pretty happy about that.
Yeah.
But we got back to his place, and I unwrapped the mold, and I wasn't real happy about the way the big one turned out. It almost looked like knuckles were drug across the dirt. I didn't care for the way it turned out. It just it looked like somebody or something had walked through the print and destroyed it. But a couple smaller pieces had broken off. And one of them is I kept the small ones. I let him keep the big one. But the one small one is a print of a small Bigfoot. I got that one.
Wow.
And the other one, I will have to take a picture and send it to you.
Wow.
But
Thank you.
I don't know what the hell it was, but it looked like three claws, huge claws, and you can actually make out the fur that was on
Whoa.
the foot of whatever it was. You can actually make it out in the
Wow.
mold.
How big was
The
that?
dirt, it's probably that long.
So pretty big. For the
It was
people
pretty
listening,
big.
that was like wider than an
I
iPhone. Like quite a big,
I don't know what that was.
yeah.
I have no clue what that could have been, but
Hmm.
I'll send you a picture.
Wow. And the other
But
one was a small foot, so like possibly a baby Bigfoot.
yeah, yeah, I'll send you a picture of that too.
Thank you.
I was when I noticed what that was, I didn't say a word. I just wrapped it up and put it in my in my equipment bag. And
That's mine. Wow. That's cool though. That's very cool.
now the dirt in that barn is hard. I mean, it's like almost like a really fine dirt mixed with clay, and
Hmm.
it is hard to make a print any depth anyway in this dirt. So to get those two prints, I was really happy.
Yeah, that's cool. And you hear a lot of the time that these that Bigfoot do go into barns and do like spend time in barns. You hear that a lot. And
Yeah,
you say you saw the night before you saw the movement.
I saw movement in the barn, and I heard it a board fall up against the wall or something,
Hmm.
and I wanted to know what was in there. And I am so glad I went in there and checked it out.
Yeah, that's cool. Wow. Because the thing is, you are out a lot investigating and looking for this stuff. So you're getting some great evidence.
Yeah, I want to get out more.
Hmm. Does it worry you though? Is there a side of this that you think, ah, this is scary? It must do sometimes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think if I think the people that you with, is very important too, because if you're with somebody that is scared or paranoid all the time about something happening, you're going to pick up on that energy too.
Hmm.
And it's going to increase the way you're feeling, and you're going to start feeling the same way.
Hmm. Yeah.
Because he was, I won't say paranoid, but he didn't go anywhere without a gun. He always had a gun with him. There are bears, there are cougars and stuff like that in the area, but I don't personally, I don't believe you should carry a gun with you when you are out hunting Bigfoot, or not hunting Bigfoot, but investigating and doing research,
Hmm.
because they see that they're not going to
Yeah.
appreciate it. They're not going to like it.
Hmm. And we would assume that they know what that is. They've seen
Oh
enough
yeah.
of what
Oh
we
yeah.
do.
Yeah,
They know what that means to see that. Yeah.
absolutely.
So interesting. Thank you so much for sharing that. Is there any more things that you've had experiences? I know you said there's been a lot.
Well, since I've been back here, we've been experiencing a lot of paranormal
In the
here
house.
in the house and in the backyard.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was out in the backyard one day, just out getting fresh air, and I could hear a noise, and I'm trying to figure out what the heck is that. It wasn't a partridge. You know how a partridge will drum and make that, it almost sounded like that, but it wasn't. And I got talking to somebody, and there is a Native American graveyard right down the road.
Wow.
And I believe what I was hearing was a drum. And then I can send you this too. I took a screenshot of it, but she got a picture of a shapeshifter right down the road.
Whoa.
There was a deer. She's seen a deer, and she went to take a picture of it because it was so close to the road. And as she took the picture, it literally changed. You can literally see it changing into a human.
Whoa. This is your friend that saw this.
Yeah, my roommate.
Wow. Can I get her on the show as well? I need to talk to this lady.
I can ask her. She's at work right now.
Wow. Yeah, I'd love to hear more about that. Wow. So she saw the deer turn into the human in front of her.
Yeah, yeah,
And you say she got the picture of the transition.
yeah. You can actually see the it's blurry, but you can see where it is coming up, and the brown of the deer is literally changing into human shape.
Wow. What sort of like when the person was formed, was it like a naked person or was it a man, a woman? What did it turn into?
It looks like it almost was like an Indian chief
Mhm.
in the
Wow.
picture.
Wow. So she got the before and after as well.
And she just took the one picture, and as she took the picture, it started changing.
Man. Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
love to see that.
we have UFOs. We have everything here.
Yeah, yeah. But there's definitely pockets, areas of high strangeness that seem, for whatever reason, certain areas seem to get a lot of activity. I don't know why that is. But you say, did this man acknowledge that he'd been caught transitioning, or do you know that?
I don't know if it realize she was taking a picture or what what was happening.
Hmm.
All I know is she took the picture and she caught it. It was unreal. She showed me that picture, and you can actually see two different forms in the picture.
Man, is that picture out there anywhere on Facebook or anything?
She actually put it on Facebook. I can
Oh,
send it to you.
yeah, I need to see that. That's wild. And when he formed, did he just have like Native American clothing on?
It can't. I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know. You would have
I've
to ask
I've got to
her
get
all
her on.
that.
Yeah, you've got to ask her if she'll come on. That is wow, very interesting. Because I don't know if I should say the word, but you also hear of the skinwalkers and things like that, and that they've got quite a negative. Um, some people don't even like saying the word. So
Yeah, yeah. I try not to say the word, but
yeah, I'm
I
sorry.
no, no. I have, and I haven't experienced nothing negative or
Hmm.
anything. So,
Yeah,
oh no.
that's wild, man. What sort of things are going on in the house?
I We have things turning on and off, things being unplugged.
Hmm.
Um, that she has a dog, and he stays in the cage while she's at work. And she has noticed that the cage would be unlocked or locked. He got locked in it the other day while she was home, and she didn't do it.
Hmm.
And the other night, I had a cat ball. I'm a paranormal investigator. I have cat balls.
Yeah.
I have a cat, but I had a cat ball sitting in my room. And the other night, just out of the blue, it started flashing. And I thought, oh, that's weird. I must have bumped it or something. And it happened again. And this is not right. This is not normal. So I started recording, and I caught the sound of hard soled boots walking on hardwood floors in that room.
Whoa.
There is carpet on these floors. Nobody wears hard soled boots. There
Interesting.
used, yeah, there used to be a old farmhouse on this land. It burnt to the ground, but nobody died in the fire. But we believe whoever is here is attached to the land, and he is living in his time, and anything that we experienced or hear, he is in his old house.
Yeah. Wow. We've had that recently at my house. So there's things going on every now and again in this house, very weird stuff. And so at night we've got quite a big cage for my dog that we put him in. But there has been a couple of occasions where he's got out, the cage has been opened by something, and we're like, what? How? How? He can't do it himself, and something's done it. No one else has done it. Had it a few times recently. So that's weird that you say that as well.
Have
Ah,
you have you noticed lately in the past couple weeks or so the paranormal activity ramping up?
yeah, a lot of
It
people are saying that. Yeah.
it has been crazy with
Hmm.
everything I've been experiencing and things I've been hearing about.
Hmm. Is it a daily thing for you? Is it you experiencing something daily or
It,
weekly?
it seems like lately it's been a daily thing.
Hmm.
Something is happening here in the house.
Yeah, yeah.
And, a couple nights ago, she was out on the back deck having a cigarette, and she's yelling for me to come out because she's seen something. When I first went out and looked, she pointed out a weed to give me a reference to the height of this black creature she's seen. And I thought it may have been a big cat or something, but I was wrong. Whatever she's seen is at least 6 foot tall. And she's seen it running into the woods. And we were out there last weekend. No, the weekend before we were outside and I seen something black moving around in the woods.
Whoa. So possibly a Bigfoot or something like that?
Yeah, I'm believing it's a Bigfoot.
I need to get your roommate on as well.
Yep.
You got to sort that out for me. Wow. So you guys are getting a lot going on right now.
Yep, we do.
So interesting. So interesting. Are you seeing anything in the house? Or is it just sounds and feelings at the moment? Or have you seen anything, shadow figures, anything like that?
I see I see shadow figures out of the corner of my eye all the time.
Hmm.
I've seen the ghost of a cat run through here one day. I think it was trying to play with my cat, but it was it looked like a gray fluffy cat running through the house.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah. I've seen a black cat in his house before. This is going back a little bit of time now, but we don't have a cat, and at the time we didn't have a dog either. And we're all sitting having a family meal, and I've jumped out my skin because a black cat ran past. Like I saw it ran past me, and I was so scared. And I was like, "There's a cat in the house," and I'm looking all around the house trying to find this cat because I saw it, and it wasn't there. There was nothing there. All the windows were shut. We didn't have a dog at the time, so I didn't get confused between him and a, you know. So it is strange. Oh, Jenny, this is a weird world, but I love it.
I love it too.
Thank you so much for coming back and sharing your recent experiences. Super interesting. This is not the last time we're going to talk. We'll keep connecting. We'll keep sharing experiences, and I'd love to get you back on sometime. And I want to get your roommate on as well. I've got to now. I've got to hear more about that as well. But yeah,
Yeah,
thank
I'll talk
thank
to
you,
her. You're
thank you
welcome.
so
I'm glad you
much.
had me back on.
Oh, it's been awesome. Thank you. Can you tell the listeners where they can find you if they want to reach out to you?
They can find me on Facebook under Jeannie Maes. And I have a group called Greenstone Paranormal. And I am doing some changes with my group right now, and I'm excited about it. And I will let you know what that is when I get it all done. And
Awesome.
but I will definitely send you those pictures, and
Oh, thank you so much.
you're
Awesome
welcome.
stuff. Thank you so much. I will share your Facebook links in the show description so people can find you
Okay.
easily. Thank you so much. Let's do this again soon.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Guys, if you've enjoyed this episode, share it where you can. That is a great way to support us. It gets us out there to more people that enjoy the freaky conversations like you and me. If you'd like to be a guest on the show and share a paranormal experience or any wild experience, get in touch. Email is in the show description. You can reach us on there, or you can get in touch on social media on all the platforms. Just send us a DM. We'd love to talk to you. Jeannie, thank you so much. Let's do this again soon. Stay safe out there. And
You
yeah, thank
too.
you. We'll speak
Thank
soon.
you.
Thank you very much. Keep it freaky, guys. See you soon.